2. There we go.
There we go.
What's the sound?
Sorry.
It's not. Yeah, I got to edit that shit out.
He got emotional. Yeah, he got emotional.
I did, yeah.
Oh, we did?
Yeah. The sad violin, you said.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yes, yeah. All right.
Yeah, we don't want to mess with the product. It's
all right.
You don't.
What are we talking about? Anyway, have we done all the interaction, or am I like 6 minutes late?
Well, first of all, let's hello, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about the whatever. We just crashed in through the door like this, but we're here again. My colleagues, Carl, Marius,
hello,
and myself, Ihani. We are the House of Lords.
Here.
Yeah.
So, gentlemen,
all that jeering.
first of all, just to get the bits out of the way, how you guys doing today? You all right?
See, I was going to open it up with I'm fabulous, right? And I am.
Good.
Yeah. I am fabulous. Yeah, there you go. That's how I am. Somewhat tired. There we go. Recognizing. Somewhat tired. All right, I got an early night. I had a rough night's sleep, but none of them are negatives. It's just an observation of what was.
Right. And yourself, and your good self, Marius.
I'm good. Not as fabulous as Carl.
How can we be?
But also another level of fabulous for being alive. And by the way, he's going to kill that chair again.
Let's not focus on the chair. Let's not focus on the chair, yeah? Let's just get past that, yeah? Thanks. Let's just it'll be all right. Right? It'll be all right. You'll manage. You'll see. Tell you. You'll see.
Right, so
how about
gentlemen,
you, honey? How are you?
Yeah, I was going to say, how are you?
Excellent, actually. It's all like this year's kicked off, mate. I mean, this year's really. I stepped in, and the day one, there's already, energy in the public zeitgeist. But more importantly, the stuff that I've been nurturing and fostering over the last year or stuff is. People are coming in, people are, hello, yeah, talks are happening, and there's development. So I'm actually loving where I am because I'm only dealing with people that are interested in healing the earth now. And all of my conversations, even the one I had a meeting just now, because I needed to re-up, and I did, thank God, and which is why I'm happy. No, but what I'm saying is even there, but that's a. My friend, we've had a relationship now for the last, since I moved here, I think, 2017, something like that. Really, another Jedi like us, you're looking to, always on a mission to help the community, always on a mission to do better, to make the earth a better place in some way, shape or form. And we just had a conversation. See, I haven't been in a lot of their meetings because I've been watching it, but I haven't been in a lot of the meetings because until my bit comes in, pointless me doing that. So I just monitor it from a distance. I got nothing to say. These guys are doing the thing. They got the relationships, but I have a skill set that they really, I have a knowledge base and a skill set that allowed for me to become part of that group. That's why we have a thing called POH Farms, POHfarms.com, the Pursuit of Happiness Farms. Yeah, that's a collective that I'm involved with, and we try and do things that can help humanity in the best way we can. So that means things like solutions to the farming debacle that's going on in this country and any other country for that matter. But actually partnering with genuine individuals, scientists, global scientists, and so forth. It's actually it's all really that's really a nice thing to happen. And then I've got another lady from the UK who's contacted me and wants me to be part of this frequency representation that's all to do with healing. So the whole place, like imagine a club you go in and you listen to music, but what you're feeling are extra frequencies being pushed in that are healing frequencies that are right there. And enhancing that music and enhancing people's being. So I'm just interested in that. I'm glad that people have hit me up for this because now there's a part for me to play. I have a role and yeah, I'm loving it. So yeah, I'm great. Thanks, gents.
Well, I'm
For a
glad to hear
moment,
it.
when you compared us with Jedi, I closed my eyes and I was levitating and I was in that position of elevating.
Okay. Position of
Go on,
elevate.
Carl, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, that's all I wanted to say when he mentioned like Jedi is like us. I was like closing my eyes and I was already levitating. I was like,
It automatically took me back to a historical part where there was actually a group of people called the Jedi.
No, I didn't know that. Do explain. Do tell.
I'm not well versed. A good person to ask on that one is a researcher, but I believe in Egypt there was a particular class or caste of temple priests that were called the Jedi, and they were religious warriors type thing. It's ironic, really, isn't it?
So there's nothing new under the sun.
That part.
that part.
Okay, good to know.
So, gents, what are we taking today? What are we talking about?
I remember. Well, Carl, didn't you mention to me the other day that there was a bunch of stuff that had been pinned on the board?
I see. I'm slacking.
Okay.
I know where you're going. I was listening to it the other night, and I've listened to it twice now. And every time I've listened to it, as soon as we got to like the first pin, I'm like, oh, right, yeah, I've got to start making notes of these because we're going to revisit that. We are going to revisit that most definitely, because there is lots of stuff on that pin board, from one world governments to the anatomy of humans to genetically modified foods. Kind of leaning into what you were just describing on earlier on, a more organic farming approach to natural living food.
Right. You know what's quite interesting that you talk about the organic farming approach to natural living food? Because as I was scouring the social media networks, not for anything in particular, as I did that, I came across a post that I thought was rather cool. I came across this, and it was really, 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 really cool. I mean, I'm saying that. It was really cool. They, oh my God, here's my daughter going crazy again in the studios or whatever. Sorry, I'm just looking at it right now. And here's my buddy Jesus. Oh, see, look, everybody's coming out of the woodwork today. Oh my gosh, oh well. So yeah. It was this gent that comes on and he starts talking and he starts to go on about the various what was it? He says, Siri, he's just sitting there going, Siri, why do he's asking questions, what is such and such doing in the American food chain, or and Siri answers these questions all about the toxicity in the food chain. He asks about yellow dye, red dye, number this. Why are Skittles banned in Europe? Why are these things banned in Europe? I mean, it was actually really interesting to come across it, listen, hear the questions, and go, this is the time. It's now that these questions need to be posed in public. They need to be placed in the consciousness so that people can start having the conversation, because up until now Americans aren't talking about the poisons that they're consuming. So just something that was really cool to actually witness and stuff and to see.
And just quickly to address, because I know last time we also mentioned at the end that we may be talking about the freedom of speech to the listeners, so we didn't forget about that topic. It's just we are exploring to see what we are in tune or opening a discussion this time. So, okay, what would be the topic? You guys make a decision.
Why do I have to make the decision? Why don't you make it, mate?
Yeah, why don't you? Yeah.
Wow.
Why?
I don't have to.
No one said you have to. We're just saying, why don't you?
Do we have to?
You don't have to, no. I'm
Thanks.
just presenting it. So I'm just saying, what would it be? What would you guys be in line with having the discussion tonight?
Whatever can heal the world is what we're into.
Well,
Truth.
bro.
That's kind of crazy, isn't it? Truth, healing the world.
True.
Because it is objective. What is truth?
True.
All of that in a world of otherness. What is truth? Yeah. What's troubling you, Marius?
Nothing.
Are
Moment.
you sure?
I am.
I dare say our listeners and my fellow co-host can hear a tone in your voice that is an indication to
A quiet tone.
slightly different than your normal jovial self. I don't know if I butchered both of them words, I think, but
Just because I'm a human being, so you can't always be with the same voice. If you put it like, sometimes it's very up and running. Sometimes, so, it's,
Fair
I'm
dues,
just
fair dues.
composed. I'm just listening. I'm in listening mode.
you're in listening mode. You're doing a podcast and you're in listening mode. Let me know how that works out.
Well, I tell you how that works out, because by listening to what you two are speaking about, I can tap in and add, right? That's all.
Yeah, absolutely right. Well, Ayani, this is kind of one of the things on the pinboard, isn't it? The toxification of our food. We seem to have started there. What say you on this subject? Am I coming extremely kind of piercy in my headphones? What say you on the subject matter? What have you unearthed about the danger of this toxifying food? This genetically modified food.
Well, I mean, let's take a look at the basics. Let's just take a look at the basics, right? It is now clear. Well, it's not clear to everyone, so I shouldn't say that. If we are to take a closer look at our environment, and we're talking from the human perspective, we will find that when we step outside of that environment, in what we like to call nature, there are all of the attributes, the elements, the resources, the fuel that we need to maneuver around the planet happily, healthily. It's all there, okay? So that would say a couple of things like, well, it means that what we look at, what we see in that respect, was designed for us to use. There's definitely a good chance. It's not like we came across it and tested it out to see whether. If it's there and we were placed here, it was there for a reason. Now think about this, and the conversation that we've had in the past that listeners who have listened to our previous podcast will have heard when we start to touch upon origins and things like that. So clearly, if we just for a moment have an open mind and say we were created, a space was created for us, or should I say there was a space created, and then we were created to fit into that space because it had all that we needed on that space for us to survive. Now, if they did that, here's what we don't hear about. We don't hear about the plants. We don't hear about any of that stuff. Think about that. If they're able to regenerate from what we've learned, if they're able to regenerate from genes, from genetics, right? and here we are. It is definitely, if they're smart enough to go, well, what are they going to eat? How are they going to be powered? Oh, they'll be powered by the sun, by water, and by the greens of this earth, and by the fruits of this earth. So if we start there and say, at that particular point, we were in homeostasis with the planet. We had everything that we needed. There was a balance, right? Now man comes along, and not all man, I would say, crazy man comes along and decides that, yeah, you know what, we're going to take advantage. We have an idea that's basically going to make us the wealthy ones, because now we know that that's all their ideas ever were about. It was always about making themselves wealthy, and everybody else had nothing. So we're going to control the food. We're going to control what you eat, how you eat it and stuff. We'll grow it. And right there, because of the greed that sets in, because they can't grow it fast enough, they can't manage when bugs take up half the crop because they're trying to do something else. They're not okay with growing in the spring. Let the bugs munch off what they can in the summer or early summer, and then you can, when the bugs go, continue growing after that. But you see, their idea was 24/7. Now 24/7 is impractical, and we know that they've made it practical. No, they've made it happen, but it's actually impractical. Why? Because look where we are today. Too many shortcuts. The advent of poisons. I'm not even going to beat about the bush with pesticides. The advent of poisons, because the pesticide, for somebody to create the intention of a pesticide, that means you have to regard all bugs as pests, all bugs as negative, because they're consuming your product. So you devise a chemical to kill them. Now, if that's the first thing that's happened way back when we look at these genetically modified foods, when we look at that type of situation, genetically modified for whose benefit? Not for human benefit, no, but for the benefit of producing, for the benefit of those that are in charge to be able to produce at a much higher and more consistent rate. And the only way that they found that they could do that was to take a shortcut and add an artificial aspect to what is naturally growing, to the natural aspect of growing. They added their own little thing, a little, what they thought was a nudge, was a push, or was a defense mechanism, defending their own products and defending their bottom line. Always causes a problem elsewhere, because they still haven't mastered, either they haven't mastered the quantum aspect of their existence, of their intention, or they have and they're doing it anyway and they really don't care. So with the advent of those things, I can only see, I can see the results. I can see the people walking down the street. I can see the people frequenting the doctors, frequenting the ERs and things like this. And the only natural thing, when you walk into a store, what's the only natural thing you see? Really, the only natural thing you see are the fruits and the vegetables, because you could get that, you could literally find those out in the wild, just like that, attached to their main plant, but just like that. If you go to the butcher part, you don't even see chickens, pigs, cows, salmon, you name it. You don't see shrimp, crayfish. You don't see any of that the way it's presented in the store in the wild. You don't see that. They're moving about and they're alive. They're a different color and everything. What we get to see are pieces of them. We don't know how those pieces came about. We assume that they were chopped, that they were found and chopped, and that's our assumption because that's what they're telling us. Now we dig deeper, and what do we find? Oh, meat products that are glued together with other meat products to make steaks.
Oh, you went there, didn't you?
I had to, because initially a steak would have been literally.
Hang on, let me just, I just want to make a bit clearer the reason why I said we went there. This is solely for the benefits of the listeners, right? If you don't know, honestly, go do some searching and all the rest of it, right? And you will find processed meats. It's synthetic meats. They're using meat glue to put together pulp of all kinds to make it look like steak and all sorts. And there's also factories now that are printing meat. They're growing lab meat, and it's being sold. It's just Frankenstein, really. It's ghoulish when you take into you're digesting this stuff,
Right.
you know. And that's just the tip of the iceberg for me. The red flag, as soon as I heard other countries banning this product, you know, the genetically modified grain products, and they were attacking, as you were saying, natural environments. They were encroaching on natural variants of that grain. So like you said, there was like triggers, new mechanisms where it's aggressive to its natural counterpart.
Right.
And here's the sciencey bit, right? I'm not even going to go into the product themselves, should we say, right? Nature, in and on by itself, right? When you take a single cell organism, etc., right? It goes through a metamorphosis, right? It's either in that immortal state where it self-replicates, it self-fertilizes itself, etc. You know, it's an hermaphrodite, right? Or if the environment's abundant, then it looks for mate to copulate and pass the genetic codes through that way.
Right.
Now, the moment you start getting these genetically modifieds, which are sterile, you know, we're seeing seedless grapes and all this other kind of seedless fruits.
That's right.
Listen to the dialect. It's seedless. It's sterile. It's neutral and deficient. It's genetically made to look like the perfect image of what is. And it's a false. It's a falsehood. And
I have.
So it's, to me, it is crazy, you know. If you really want to start to break it down about the quality of what you eat, you know, ergo the saying, you are what you eat.
Right.
The body, right, rebuilds itself around every 7 years, right down to the marrow in your bones. You know, it's in a state of decay and rebirth.
Indeed.
Now, rebuilds itself off the nutrients and the goodness that you're putting into it. And if all you're putting into it is fake stuff, and you made an interesting point, a survey was done some time back, that 95% of the things sold in supermarkets today didn't exist 100 years ago.
Precisely. How does the body then recognize, how are the cells supposed to recognize the signatures and the codes that they need to replicate correctly? If the codes and the signatures are not there in the nutrition, you can't even call it nutrition, in the food that's being swallowed. Because nutrition has a purpose. It's a beneficial purpose, but artificial food is not.
I just got presented again with a memory of watching this short documentary about this kind of subject, about how the body digests living natural foods,
right,
and these, you know, freeze-dried, processed, manufactured foods. And it showed the body, right? They did this thing with a camera, believe it or not, with some natural made noodles, from natural ingredients from the earth.
Right.
Made them, digested them with a camera,
right, and
and it showed what the stomach did and the whole process of digesting this food.
Right.
Natural food, it broke down, not a problem, goes through its normal process and everything else. All of these freeze-dried and heavily processed foods, they stay in the stomach can't digest it properly, and it was a sight to behold, not for the faint-hearted really, because you're seeing, you know, the esophagus and the intestines and the whole journey, and how the body begins to break down these foods, but these fake foods don't break down.
This is where I wanted to tap in about the point when you mentioned, Carl, about what we digest. Well, the thing is that the fact that there is no nutrients in those modified organisms, the body cannot, the stomach itself cannot digest.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, there is certain videos actually where even scientists, doctors are talking about it, especially certain meats like in burgers and all that, how it can't be digested because it's not the natural living meat. It's this printed 3D, whatever, grown in labs meat that the digestive system, our digestive system, cannot digest it. It's incredible.
This is where we are.
Yeah, we have the illusion of eating. Now, some people may say, well, how people get fat? Well, that's a good question. Right? That's a good question. How do they get fat? By eating some of this stuff.
The body's responding to something. That's
Is the information of the body because it's all chemicals?
well, the body's defending itself. Immediately, it has to. It's got no choice, right? It's got no choice. The minute you put a poison into the body, what do? You throw up. Your stomach. You get what is it? You get cramps. Okay, that's your body. You know, you froth at the mouth. You start spitting up phlegm, not phlegm, mucus, right? Because your body goes into protection mode straight away, just naturally, before you do anything else, before you can even say anodine or paracetamol, right? That shit's kicked in already, man. Because it's defending itself. It immediately sees the poison. It doesn't wait and be like, I don't know whether this is poisonous or not. What do you think? I tell you what, let some of it come in and see what happens. If it gets rowdy, we'll deal with it. Like, no, it doesn't do that. No.
Again, you say that I was presented with the water, these flavoured waters. Everybody, they're on their health trip, they're doing their thing. Oh, I got my flavoured water. I drink, a lot of water. I drink these flavoured waters, and they think they're doing themselves the world of favours. So, where do you think that flavour's come from? What do you think that flavour is? There ain't no strawberries in that water. Look at it; it's clear as you like.
What do you mean there's no strawberries in it?
Right. So secondly, right, there's this thing, this beautiful thing about water, right? And water is beautiful. It's just beautiful. It's a beautiful thing, right? I love water, right? And water is the only fluid that the moment it goes in your mouth, your body starts to absorb.
Right.
Yeah?
Yep.
Imagine that. So anything that is not water, anything with a flavour is going to go through the digestive tract.
Right.
So all the time you're thinking you're drinking all this water and it's good for you because it's flavoured, no. It's not being absorbed by the body in the same way. Plus, it's heavily toxified with things like aspartame, which is now branded as natural flavourings.
What, it's not natural?
I mean, it's funny. So let's be accurate. Aspartame is one of the chemicals that now go under the banner of natural flavors.
Yep.
Wow. And that used to be a sugar alternative.
It causes tumours, cancers, all sorts. It's ridiculous. Brain lesion, the whole lot. Just a horrible chemical. It was a waste product. It was a waste product.
Yeah, my brother wrote a paper on the new, and it's called the NutraSweets Connection. When he was in medical school, he wrote a paper on that. And talks about how, way back then, talks about how it goes past the blood-brain barrier. So when it passes into the brain, it doesn't leave. just collects in the brain and starts causing issues with the brain. Toxicity that we didn't need. Toxicity that we didn't need because somebody said that you didn't need to worry about taking walks, going for a quick run, a jog, a cycle to keep yourself healthy. You could just drink Tab and you'd be fine.
I say to people, look at the pictures of the people in the 70s at the seaside and beforehand. Old pictures. Yeah. Everybody's generally fit.
Yeah.
You know, slim human beings, strong, healthy looking human beings. Now you look at a picture of a beach now in the 21st century, in the 20s. What do you see?
It doesn't look good.
It don't look good at all.
Not at all. You're looking unhealthy. There's a lot of unhealthy looking people.
Masquerading as if they're great.
Clearly. An illusory
We have normalized. I say we, right?
Who's we?
Consciousness. A little in-house joke here, ladies and gentlemen, for a conversation we had a few hours ago. But it is certainly, we've normalised this state of health, of fuck it, say it what it is. It's obese, isn't it? It's obeseness. It's unhealthy.
Well, you have healthcare. You know what I mean? Healthcare. It's in the name.
That sounds like a proxymoron to me nowadays.
Doesn't it just? But you're right, Marius. You're right, Carl.
Well, anyway, welcome to the House of Lords. My name is Carl. The other two gentlemen are Iani and Marius, and we want to hear from you. You know we do. Right, so if you're getting us on Spotify, if you're getting us on YouTube, leave us a little comment down on the bottom, share the show, and if some of your comments are like good or you have any questions, we'll read them out, give you a little shout out and explore those subjects. So again, share this with your friends. Let us know how you think about it, even if you know or you foresee us talking shite. Let us know.
Exactly, we want to know. We're cool. It's about you guys, not us. That's all it is.
Heal the world, make it a oh dear me.
Yeah, well, yeah. See, he tried. He was right. He was right. Make it a better place.
Yeah.
And that takes all of us, right? It takes all of us, yeah?
It does. Absolutely.
Make it a better place by taking care of yourself. You take care of yourself, when people step out the door, guess what they're seeing? Nice looking people. If you don't take care of yourself, when you step out, guess what you're seeing? Yeah, exactly.
But also, the hypocrisy on the people that they think they do take care of themselves with such products like Carl mentioned earlier, flavored water and all this kind of crap. And, this hypocrisy comes up and it's like, how is that self-care? How is that health-care?
You just made me laugh again, right? Because these health experts, right? I don't know if you've seen recently the pictures of some of the global countries, world leaders who are health experts, right? The World Health expert at the World Health Organization, right? I'll say it how it is. They're fat and they look like they have a diet of pizza and ice cream, right? And they call themselves an expert on health. And you've got there's a good dozen of these global health experts that are fat, out of shape, obese, shoddy, shabby-looking human beings.
Sorry,
I'm going to say it, right? They are fat, shoddy, out of shape-looking human beings, and that's who we put in charge of what should be healthy, is it?
We didn't put in just. That's the hypocrisy. We
I
haven't
understand
elected
that,
them.
but what I'm getting at here is when are we going to take accountability for our inaction?
There you go. There you go. Because that's what it's about. Doesn't matter. Listen, you see. Look, to add on Carl's point, and Marius is 100. We didn't put him there. We didn't do that.
True.
But what we haven't done is hold them accountable. What we've done is we've accepted the fact that I say wait, let me do that again. Parts of consciousness has accepted the fact that when they enter a doctor's office because there's something wrong with them, they completely ignore the spare tire around the front of the fella's belly. They completely ignore the rough skin. They completely ignore the jowls, and they're asking the person for help.
There you go.
It's right in front of you.
Yeah.
It's literally in front of you. Like you walk in, think, how can you help me? You should be walking in, looking, saying, "No, how can you help? No, I don't know about that." My ex, right? Her doctor, she changed doctors a few years back, right? And I was skeptical, right up until the time when I went in to meet the doctor, because I had something happen to me, and then she just said, "Okay, I'll see him, no problem, I'll come and see him." And she would just check my ear. I had some weird thing up to my ear. It's good down. But when I walked in and I sat down, and she had a conversation with me. And when she was talking to me, I turned around to her. I said, "You know something?" I said, I just need to tell you this. I said, A, I really appreciate how far you extend yourself to help out your patients. You're a really kind lady. B, you radiate. To me, you're what a doctor is. She then had a conversation with me about how she would go to these conferences, these medical conferences, and she would be on a table with maybe 2 or 3 other doctors who are in good shape like she is, right? The rest of them, she couldn't believe it. She'd walk about, she'd look around, she'd go, "My God, how are these people helping people when they're sweating profusely and they're doing all this stuff?" So yes, I just wanted to add that little. I just wanted to share that because as Carl brought that up, I said, yeah, share that. It makes a big difference. I could then trust who I was talking to. I could then trust that my ex is going to be fine under her care. That's it. Otherwise, I've got questions. And we need to have questions, ladies and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
We need to stop with the whole, but it's impolite to say that. No, it's not. It's the truth. It's nothing to do with impolite. It's the truth. Now, you don't need to be mean about it. You don't have to scowl. But if your intention is just to understand, to bring yourself into a position where you are making the best decision, and you're being a member of the consciousness, then surely it behooves to say, "Hey, I just wanted to say something. Please don't take this the wrong way. But there's a gym down the road, or whatever it is, mate. Whatever it is. Yeah, there's a bike outside. I've just purchased it for you. Whatever it is." I'm just making jokes here, but my point is, we are responsible for the way our environment looks, and if we're not prepared to say anything about it when it deteriorates, you got a mouth, it's right there, you got one, you can use it. So I just wanted to share that.
Does it really matter that there is a gym down the road if after you go to that gym you go home and you sit yourself in the sofa in front of the television where they bombard you with all these ads and program the mind in such a way that you are, while you're watching that, mesmerized of the pictures that's in front of you, you dipping in and you have a couple of chips and a couple of pizzas and a couple of ice creams and all that, because don't worry, tomorrow I'll go back to the gym and I'll put the work in again, because I'm unconscious of my actions while I'm sitting in front of that TV. That TV takes over my mind and I'm not conscious of what I do in that time. I feel bad after that, because what was the point of me going to the gym today if I ate all of this after I came home? but I'm not gonna do it tomorrow. But then tomorrow it happens again.
But what we're talking about here is that body matrix is, you know, the spiritual nourishment for the spiritual matters, you know, the mental nourishment for the mental matters, and the physical nourishment for the foresaid physical matters. You know, that whole body matrix is one and part of the same. A good morning routine sets you in good stead. But again, people, yeah, and you're right, Marius. You know, that succubus, that television. Ugh. I've been away at the missus's for the past week, and it's been lovely because I don't do the television, and nor does the missus. So I'm chuffed to bits about it. But however, I've come back. I've come and seen my mother, and my mother is old school, you know, the telly is on. And at 20 minutes sat there, it's like this thing. And it's like, you can't unsee where I'm going to go with this. You can't unsee the Matrix once you see it. It's a silly reference, right? But it's like, once you understand the programming, once you understand the nuances on how they structure ads to manipulate your psyche and all the rest of it. And I'm sat there and it's like, you know what I mean? You feel like that gremlin inside just wants to burst out and put its foot through the TV. But then you realise it's just consciousness, you know, that's my mum, that's what she does. You know, there ain't going to be no telling for her to turn around and turn it off. You know, it's that conditioning. And I suppose at some point you have to accept people's choices. That's what they choose to do, right? And that's so be it. That's what they're doing, right? But what are you doing? The moment you can begin to develop all of that body matrix that I was talking about, you know, spiritual maturity, the emotional maturity, the physical body maturity with a good, rigorous, like system of re-engaging with all of those aspects of yourself, then you put yourself in good stead mentally as well. So when you do go interact with individuals that have these things on, you can see it for what it is, as opposed to having to turn around, right, and say, what do you do that for? Turn this off. You know, it's nonsense. You know, it's all programming. Because you can accept that it's pointless, because they're still going to do it tomorrow. Like Marius said, you know, they're going to wake up and they're going to turn it back on. You and I had a conversation the other day, Marius, about these kind of deep theosophical conversations about and recognizing one's position within this cosmic suit, the proverbial matrix in essence, and being present within your experience. And we're talking about these being aware of these systems, moving into higher thought forms of one's relationship with what that is they are experiencing. And then as soon as you put the phone down, Netflix goes back on, straight back into the matrix. You know, there comes a point where there's a choice, and you're either in or you're out. And unfortunately, people are very much in this lackadaisical world and this lackadaisical state of relationship with what life is. You know, you talk about the Lost Book of Enki. We was talking about aliens the other week. We're talking about aliens and this idea that we were created for some mining purposes, and other entities came along and thought, hey, that looks nice, and had a go on it. And now this whole race is this dichotomy of ancient bloodlines and secret societies holding on to their idea of the little segment of the story from back in the day before the cataclysmic events, when humanity was in a very different state of affairs, completely cosmologically in relation to its heavenly neighbors. And then you come out of that world having these conversations, you know, the ancient alien conversations, and then you step out of that and you mix again with consciousness out there in the world with this thing that you're experiencing, and then it's straight back into that. I don't want to say negativity. I don't want to say low vibrational forms. I don't want to say the not interested in the bigger picture. I don't want to say couldn't give a shit. I don't want to say not interested. But what else do you leave me with when these things are presented and they're brushed off, and the next subject is something along the lines of Geordie fucking Shore or Love Island or who said what? It's like, oh, really? All right, I love you though, I really do. Mwah. You know.
You know what?
Just blow a kiss.
I did, yeah.
As there's a little thing here, I'm just going to take this opportunity, gentlemen, to just do a quick pause whilst we do a quick commercial. And you know what? Today's commercial is going to be about the protection from EMF frequency, ladies and gentlemen. You've got your routers, you've got your 4G, you've got your 5G. There's going to be more coming. You've got your towers around, you've got the new towers coming in, right? You've got your phone, you've got your iPads and all kinds of other tablets and devices that are connected to the net. And guess what they all have in common? They all use Wi-Fi. And so now you have Wi-Fi signals running all around you, all day long. And some of you may be feeling sort of like, like that foggy head. Some of you might be complaining of headaches and stuff. Well, I personally have experienced those things, and I personally did something about it a couple of years back. I started looking for companies that created EMF protecting clothing. And after, I've gone through a few companies, which I'm not going to name right now, but this one I will. You know why? Because I just purchased a hat, like a woolen hat, you put it, if it's snow time or beanie, whatever you want to call them, right? I don't like that name actually, because I know the history of it. But I bought one of those, and there's a company called Higher Mountains. And you can get them on the, you can go to the big almighty store in the sky in cyberspace. You know what I'm talking about. And if you go there and you type in Higher Mountains, you'll get radiation protection, EMF, hat, beanie in black or grey, right? Protects you from 4, 5G and so forth. And then what you'll find is that your head fog and these types of things, headaches, will go when you're using your iPad and you're working hard. Maybe put one of these on and you'll see a difference. You'll feel the difference. So that's Higher Mountains, radio protection EMF clothing. Check them out on that big store online. Gentlemen, thank you.
Welcome back, everyone.
That was the welcome back, mate. Gentlemen, thank you was us coming back, bruv.
Going back to the topic that we started with, food and all that, I was asking myself that question. So, who's banging on the door?
Yeah, that was me. I'm at the door. I'm at the door.
Man.
I love the ad. I love the ad, but I love the fact it was an ad for tinfoil clothing. No difference.
Yeah, thank you. That's the reason why I did it.
I love it.
All those people. That's the reason why I did it, because all those people that were knocking and saying tinfoil hat. Yeah, well, we look stylish now.
I love that. Sorry, Marius, go ahead.
That's okay. That's okay. And I was asking myself, when did it start? How did it start? How did we get into that, where the food that is being tampered with is being acceptable? And somewhat I've been presented with this term of organic, non-organic, corn-fed, farm. Because I don't know about you, gents, but when I grew up, there was no such terms around when you were going to a shop. You're going to buy meat, you'll buy meat. You're going to buy fruit, you'll buy fruit, you'll buy veg. There was no such thing as organic vegetable or organic fruit or organic. And I was presented with that. Well, when these terms were introduced, it was just like telling the public, well, there may be certain products that we tampered with, but now we give you the choice, the illusion of choice, that these are organic and these are not organic. It's up to you how much you want to spend and how much you care about yourself, and how much you want to look Isn't that interesting? Someone wanted to tap in. Go on.
You know, you make a very, make an extremely valid point. Growing up in England, growing up in Hampshire, the back garden was loaded. And I know Carl, because we mentioned we had a kind of a small dialogue about this. But back in the day in England, right? So for me, that would be like the early 70s, yeah, 60s. I was born in the 60s, early 70s, yeah. I was in the foster spot that I was in. Big back garden, grass on either side. There's a pathway running down the centre of it, and the grass on either side. I think, was there a pathway running on either side? Maybe, yeah. And then grass on either side, anyway. And then you go a good length, you know, you can play a bit of football in there. And then from that point, it keeps on going, but it's now vegetables. It's rhubarb, it's potatoes, it's cabbage, it's, you know, strawberries, gooseberries, you know, all that stuff grew readily. And I'm talking, that's Hampshire. That stuff grew readily. Like you'd walk down the street, and you can pick wild blackberries off bushes. Just as you moved about. That was something that was always available. Right? Yeah. There was never any such thing as, oh well, it's this, it's organic, it's that. It was just the same, and the carrots were all kinds of sizes. The apples were all kinds of sizes. They weren't shiny. You know, the potatoes were big and covered in dirt. Right? I mean, so they literally came out the dirt, in the sack, bosh, next. Out the dirt, in the sack, on the wheelbarrow, in the market. This is what we grew up on. Right? And we were all healthy. We were all managing, mate. I mean, look, a proper English constitution, you don't have days off. There's people I know. My ex's grandmother, she just passed, right? At 90 something, never a day off. Never a day off, never sick. English lady, lived up in Oxford, had a bit of money and stuff, you know, but never sick. Worked hard, but was very social as well. But never sick, not one day. Sharp as a tack. You know, I'm sure that. Oh, wait. So, have you guys heard of the China study?
Go on.
So the China study was done. It was a study that was done to determine the rates of cancer across China. And when I tell you, they interviewed everyone. There was some million or so strong team of people that covered China. It's the biggest study ever done. I've got the book actually, and I'm being reminded of this because the other day my mother sent me a link, and it was a link to my brother doing a talk, because he's a big medical dude. He's doing a talk, and he happens to mention the China study. And I said, oh yeah. And what? Check this out. So they studied they were looking at diets, right? And they were looking at they were looking at the cause of cancer. They were trying to see cancer rates, right? And what they noticed was the cancer rates they found out in the rural part, rural, was like 1 in 100,000. Okay. In the cities, it was 1 in 3. 1 in 3. 1 in 3 people, incidence of cancer in the cities. And they wanted to know, what was it? What was it that was actually causing this to take place? And what they found were the rurals they were vegetarian. They didn't eat the meat. They ate they didn't eat the meat. They didn't eat meat. They were farmers. They were rural. Their incidence, or should I say, the amount of meat that they ate was considerably, just massively lower. But obviously, you come to the city, you've got pork, you've got beef, you've got all of this, and everyone's eating it. And this was at that time the main correlation for the incidences of cancer. So one could definitely then say, right, so now we know that the meat industry, from that study, would let you know that there was a higher incidence of carcinogens of cancer based upon the consumption of meat. Now, gentlemen, let me pull us very quickly over to one of the doctors that we have had the pleasure of listening to in our room, on our, in our tavern room on Clubhouse. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you hear in the House of Lords, if you like the House of Lords, you can check us out on Clubhouse too. We're in a place called the Truth Seekers Tavern. So, yeah, where was I? Oh my gosh, please remind me. I'm so sorry. Where was I? Should have done that little skirt.
You were speaking about the doctor.
The what?
A doctor.
Oh yes.
I know what doctor, but just go for it.
Yes. And so we were talking about. I was talking about actually the incidence of cancer and stuff. And so now, when you pull over to that doctor, the doctor's name is Dr. Lee Merritt. For those who are interested, take a look. Type her in. Don't do it in Google, please. Do not do it in Google. Try it in Brave. In fact, no, do it in Google and then do it in Brave. In fact, quickly, from now onwards, for the next week, all your searches, ladies and gentlemen, get the Brave browser, download it, and then do a search comparison. The very same sentence, copy and paste it into each browser and see what happens. Okay, so that Dr. Lee Merritt, right, pulling you guys back into the China study. What was one of if you guys remember, do you guys remember what for one of Dr. Lee Merritt's discoveries? And she's done an inordinate amount of research on this factor. Is there anyone there who can? No? Okay.
No, I'm here.
Oh yeah. So, what do you think? What was it? Tell the ladies and gentlemen. Let them know.
Well, he gets me to that book that Dr. Merritt's Monkey, right? Is that the study that you're talking about?
No. Dr. Merritt's Monkey?
Yeah.
It was more the one that she had done with regards to studying patients that were suffering from a particular. They basically had they were cancer patients, right? Okay, she studied them, and she noticed that there was something present in every single one of them. High incidence, i.e., in the affected areas too.
Acidity.
Parasites.
There you go. Boom. All of that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Right? So think about this then. If there's been that correlation, so what does that tell you now about the farming industry and sourcing your meat?
Well, we could be really cynical, or depending on how you place yourself on this thing, and see a much bigger cyclical process. You see, these individuals that have now monopolized the farming industry at once, and still do monopolize the pharmaceutical industry. The same industries that operate and monopolize the pharmaceutical industries also occupy and monopolize what you can and can't be treated with. So they control your food. They know the food causes ailments that needs to be treated by their medicines that produce ailments then suggested of food that feeds back into the elements, the toxification of the network completely. Going right round. But there's loads of individuals out there that have done fabulous studies and done absolutely amazing work on curing cancers. You know, there's been absolute loads of people, and then what happens to them? I told you, here's the cynical bit again. Well, they die, don't they?
Yeah.
You know, there were studies done on the placebo effect. There were studies done on alkaline and acidic diets. Just by changing the diet from one of acidity to alkaline, changed the body matrix, and they discovered that cancer can't survive in an alkaline environment. It needs an acidic environment. All of these studies constantly washed under the bridge because it breaks the system. The secular system of control, education program.
Do you mean they die in the same way like all the ones that they come up with, this free energy and all these solutions for clean water, you know what I mean, right? Yeah, these another tragic accident.
Ignite your vitality. Meet the LifeSpring Gold Card, a quantum leap in wellness. Revitalize your bioenergy, boost stamina, ease aches and improve your mental focus. Shield yourself from electromagnetic frequencies emitted from cell phones, laptops and other smart technologies. Restructure tap water, revitalize food and harmonize everything around you. Elevate well-being with LifeSpring, made in the USA. Order today from VanessaElston.com.
Another terrible plane crash. Oh, look, terrible suicide. And it's been going on now, or is it just that I've been alive long enough now to see it happening far too often for it to be a coincidence?
Yeah. How convenient.
You know, witnesses of everything from the assassination of JFK, shot dead witnesses. 9/11, shot dead witnesses. People dying left, right and centre. Terrible accidents. Whistleblowers locked up, died tragically. So all the people that try to actually better the world end up getting shot or suicided.
Or character assassination, right?
Yeah.
Like what's his name? Doctor from UK actually, that talks about the vaccine.
I don't. But you mentioned a doctor. I'll tell you another fabulous doctor.
What was his name? Andy Weed.
I don't know, mate.
His name. I'm butchering his name. But he talked about the MMR vaccines, how because they're delivered together, that's what actually causes autism in children. I remember that.
Yeah, all of them studies, they're all vilified. All vilified. All the evidence is vilified. It's a crazy state of affairs, and you have to ask yourself, well, who's controlling these? And it is that simple question: follow the money. See how it's all interlocked. Look at the owners of the companies. Look at the biggest shareholders. Look who's getting payments on campaign runs. Look who these campaigns and the funders of the particular political campaigns and who they're affiliated to. We're not run by politics. We're run by big business. Big business and the power of manipulation through money and pressure, research grants, funding. That's what sets the standard. The politricks is exactly that. It's politricks. To keep you deluded and distracted from the very subject matter that we're talking. You talk about Dr. Bruce Lipton changing the very vibration nature of diseased tissue, and if you feed it or project the same harmonic resonance of healthy tissue at the ill tissue, just like a pianist tuner uses a tuning fork to find the necessary notes, right? The same thing happens with sick tissue. The moment it's exposed to the vibratory field of its natural state, it reverts back to it. Some fringe nut jobs, and this is a very
sounds like a miracle car.
There's just loads of it. And like I said earlier on at the beginning of this, at what point are we going to start taking accountability? At what point are we going to keep vilifying those that are reaching out just for the safety and comfort of people's disillusion? Because this is what the collective think. And if it were true, it'd be on the news. How many times we hear that? How many conversations do we hear about people that turn around and say, oh, they all lie, didn't they, politicians? They all lie. And then they go vote.
That's right.
Oh, you wouldn't trust anything that comes out of a politician's mouth. And then you go and talk bioweapons.
Oh, you went there, did you?
I did go there because it's all relative. Look at the cancer increases now. I've got something on my phone. I wish I had it at hand. Right, and
it's called supercar.
And these increases, the increases. The increases are not just like 20-30%, right? Some of these increases are in the 4,000 and 5,000% increase. Sudden deaths, infant deaths, strokes, heart attacks, respiratory, up by thousands of percent over the past few years, and everybody's going, oh yeah, it's like, I'm well going to get my booster next week.
You make me laugh.
But at what point, if I truly care, then it needs to be said. Wake up.
Well, it's the same. I couldn't believe that. I mean, it's acceptable to see a guard of the Queen's Guard, but there are some of the fittest soldiers you can find on the planet, right? Prepared to protect, and they suddenly just fall. Seriously. Have you ever seen that prior to 2020?
It's ridiculous. And here you go. This brings us back onto, I don't know if we've touched upon this, censorship, isn't it? Because who's trying to share this information? I know I have been from the get-go, in fact, long beforehand, with those red flags. Do you know what is these testimonials from high-ranking political figures and deep black state operatives, that have given you their deathbed confessions of the shit that they were involved in? And they started telling you back in the 90s and even beforehand that they had this maniacal plan of reducing the world's population through forced vaccinations and false flag pandemics and false flag events.
Oh, they didn't say that, did they?
And now we're here. The average male nowadays has got the average 20-year-old now has got the same sperm count or a lower sperm count than a man of 70 who hasn't been inoculated, vaccinated, jabbed.
I would put it the other way. The one at 70 has a higher sperm count than the one at 20.
But that's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at. There's been a dramatic, nearly a 40 or somewhere between 40 and 50% decrease in fertility in women and males.
I wonder how much is the food that adds to it, right? Not just the bioweapon from the.
But this is what I'm getting. It's all part and parcel on it. The medicine that makes people sick, right? Because it does. You read any medicine, Jesus Christ, it's got more frigging side effects than it does effects, right? And then people that have been on these medications, and then of course it's the effect, right? But they call it side effects, don't they? Well, it's not side effects, it's an effect, isn't it? It's the fucking effect, right? And then after a prolonged period of time, because this drug's now knackered up their elbow or whatever, they end up taking some more drugs. And then them drugs knacker the heart or thin the blood, so they got to take blood thickers and thinners. Then after a while, they got to take something because their kidneys are knackered. And you have to ask yourself, why is that then? I mean, it's a logical question and it's a logical answer. Right. But people don't.
So are you a doctor, Carl?
I don't need to be a doctor to read.
Thank you. You don't need to be a doctor to be inquisitive enough to protect that which is you.
There you go.
I mean, you're the first one, right? You're the first one that's supposed to be doing that before anybody else can come around and help you. So but that's provided they're not protecting themselves. And the way we do that is how? Or protect may not be the right word. Prepare. And how do we do that? By a little thing called asking a question. What is it? Where does it come from? How did you make it? Who makes it? Why is it here? I mean, I'm sorry, dear.
You know, prior to a few years back, I didn't question these names, this kind of like healthcare, for example, that I mentioned earlier, or medical practice. I mean, it's in the name. Dental practice, it's in the name.
Practice.
It's in the bloody name.
Why are you practicing on me? I thought you know how to do this. No, this ain't no practice run, mate. No. I want somebody who can do it properly. Yeah? But no one does that. We don't. I mean, I was guilty of that too, mate. Trust me, I was guilty of walking along going, but I'm going to the dentist. I'm walking to the dental practice. Blah blah blah. Sit down. But it was only for the longest time. It was only one day when I went online and I saw what Sweden was doing. Being in the States, I saw what Sweden was doing from a dentistry point of view, and I mean, we're talking like I looked this up like maybe like it must have been 2009, anyway. And what I found was sweet. They had developed a gel that if you had a cavity that was a visibly exposed cavity on your tooth that you could get to without any problem, put this gel on it, and that gel would eat the cavity and leave the clean enamel and dentine, right? Dentition. I mean, dentine. Whatever the fuck it's called. And I was like, what? I looked at this and I was like, great, no drills needed, none of that. No need for anesthetic. So that you can do with it. You know, there's nothing, right? So I was like, all right, this is cool. So then I was actually having something done to my mouth because I made a mistake in my earlier years, and then it came up. So I go there, and I'm saying, so have you heard about the gel that you can use to remove film? She goes, no. I goes, what do you mean no? She goes, that doesn't exist. I said, it does. She goes, it doesn't exist. And she's sitting there because she's saying that because she's got the dentist coat on. She's in her office. It's her practice. I'm laying down. My mouth's open, and she's telling me no, right? And she feels she's got authority, and she's right. No, never heard of that. I would have heard of that, you know, in her practice in Beverly Hills, right?
Her practice?
Exactly. So I was like, because literally her practice, and I'm saying that because it was practice. She did practice. She weren't good at what she did. Anyway, so I was like, all right, well, when I come back to finish off the job that you're doing right now, then I'll bring it with me. So I did. I brought a document that I printed out a document from the computer. I printed it out. Yeah, take a look at that. She looks at it briefly. She sees it. She sees it's real. That's the thing. She sees it's real. But her response was like, wow. Felt like, no, she's not willing to learn. And what's funny is that she actually screwed up what she was doing on my mouth. So she actually screwed it up. Interesting, right? And all I did was show her something about feeling, nothing to do with what we were doing. All I said, oh yeah, take a look at that. Thinking I'm sharing knowledge. Why? Because knowledge is great. I didn't say that I was a dentist. I didn't tell her I was above her or anything like that. I'm just sharing something. But she couldn't manage it. Oh, well, what are you gonna do?
Well, that's what they call that shell identity being challenged, you see, that illusionary projected perspective that they are something and that they're at top of their field, and that they know because they've trained and they've been accepted and recognized by a group of their peers. And she has this piece of paper in a frame in the office, so she feels informed.
They achieved it.
Yeah. So anything outside of that, the lay person outside of their craft could not possibly know. You see, and people feel threatened by that. It's self-evident in many professions and in many practices and things of this nature, from work, education, doctorate, medical, astrological, scientific. You have all these little silent nuances, like, I know something you don't fucking know. I've got a white coat. I've got a couple of letters in front of my name, so I did something. What did you do? Oh, well, I stayed at home and read the same book you did and didn't have to go and pay somebody fucking thousands of pounds. So I get what you're doing, and I can have a conversation. And this is where, what do you know? It's like Marius posed that thing, I know it was a mocking thing because that's what we hear outside of town. Oh, what, are you a doctor? Or are you a historian? Are you a teacher? Are you this? Right, and it's like, I'm surrounded by, I don't know, at least 200 books of various sorts, maybe more, right? And I've read most of the ones that are on my shelf, and any one of us can read. You can go to these academic places and read the studies. You can go to these government offices and their websites and look at the statutes and the laws. You can do that. And it's ironic that there's now this new ad campaign by some authority from somewhere in the world that seems to be circulating around the world of social media and mainstream media of if you have a tendency to read conspiratory theory, you might find yourself believing them. Like, don't read it because it's a drug and you'll get addicted because you'll believe it. So there's this psychological campaign, like, don't question nothing. And the reason why they're pushing that, we've noticed that people actually that start reading conspiratory articles start converting and believing them. No shit, Sherlock, because they're not conspiracy theories.
No.
They're factual evidence that we've already been discovered, that we've read the legal documentation and what now you are determined as factual or false, even if it's true. So we know that this stuff is true. We know thousands, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of doctors around the world have seen all the evidence of the damning side effects or effects that this stuff's doing. You have tens of thousands of climatologists that are opposing this whole, global crisis, this weather crisis, global catastrophe. You've got countless professionals around the world been warning people from its exceptions, the dangers of Wi-Fi, because it was a military piece of tech.
Right.
It was never designed to be in every fucking classroom in a school across the Western Hemisphere.
No, it didn't need to be.
Right. And the list goes on. Then you got the food, like we were discussing. You've got countries around the world banning this food because of its toxification and its danger to the natural order of things. But no one's listening. They want to watch.
I'm being presented with this.
I say no one's listening. That's far too harsh.
Well, yeah, it is a bit. It's a generalization.
Marius was listening.
Marius and Ihani was listening.
We were.
I'm being presented with this. This is a Romanian writer. His name was Ion Kranga. He said something it's interesting. He said, and I don't know if I'll translate exactly, but I'll try my best. But he said something like, I know I'm stupid, but when I observe around me, I get more courage.
Hello, that's good.
That's a humble. That's actually a humble statement as well. That's
right.
a humble yet positive statement, and it's a humble yet empowering statement.
Okay, and I can relate.
Indeed.
You know, it's that kind of hermetic principle of, you know, Socratean kind of, the more we learn, the less we know. And it's accepting that, you know, the more information we're exposed to, the less we comprehend of this world. And it matters for every question that is answered, 5 more questions are presented. But when you start asking yourself these questions and observing this kind of curiosity with this thing that you're living, and then you look around you, you are encouraged, like, all right, you know, not that I'm judging, but Jackie's sick as shit. Do you know what? Why not say it? Why not? I want to make the world, I'd love to see the world be a better place, a brighter place.
Because people get
It's a ridiculous statement to say, because it is beautiful. And people say, how can you say that? There's war, there's this, that, and the other. Well, fucking stop warring then. Again, it comes down to accountability. You know, if you want to get distracted by the theatre of it all and the soul trap, the semantics of what the fuck is, pick up a history book, go right back, you know, go and have a look. And do what you want, I suppose. Do what you want, because it's just consciousness, isn't it? You know, that's where I come back to. Every time you could take a position and say, oh, what you're doing, you lose insight that everything that is exactly how it should be.
It's supposed to be, exactly. It's never supposed to be fixed.
Yeah, it is what it is, you know, but
and the thing about
what would you say to the people that are listening and get offended by certain things that we are saying? What would you say to them?
What would I say to people getting offended?
Yeah. Because some people will. Whatever we discuss may find it offended, you know. Offending their intelligence or their shell identity.
I'd say put it in the chat, right? Leave a comment on YouTube or Spotify, and we'll get back to you.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I love that.
That's what you can do.
Yeah, it's gone of the, you know, the
right.
Sculpting one's dialect to suit the sensitivities of somebody. You know, I will not be less for somebody to feel more. You know, I'm not doing that, not at all.
I don't need to.
And the age of that time has long gone. You know, the horse is out the box, the race is on.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. It's true. Very true. We're here. Like I always like to say, we're here. We're on the road, by the way. Yeah. Wake up. We're on the road. You. Wait. You in the motor. We're actually moving at 50, and what are you doing? We're on the road. Let's go.
That's it. And again, I think it was the last conversation that we had, where there's also that state where, you know, I'm on my deck chair. I'm kicking back. I'm looking at it. It's like, this is a trip. You know, it really is a trip. The whole experience, the whole experience.
It is a beautiful tree.
It is. It's massively convoluted. The depth of it is beyond anything, and we haven't even scratched the surface when you really think about it.
And we may probably never do.
Yeah. I've got to visit the. I'm taking. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to disappear for a moment to take a slash.
I see you doing so well, and then you just made it all crash.
And that rhymed. And that rhymed.
Yeah, I know. I could have rhymed it and back in slash. You know, I could have brought that back in, but go do your thing. It is. We'll be going for what, hour and 23 minutes or something like that. I don't know what time I came in. It might be 24 for when I used to. I'm not sure. But
what are we going for? But my screen is 84. Probably you guys are 86, 87, whatever. For some reason, every time I join, podcast. I have to be kicked out a few times before it shows me to join. I don't know what's going on. Every time I
Because
click
it
on
don't like you, Marius. It don't like you.
it doesn't like me. It's
No,
probably,
I don't know why.
it's probably saying he's an immigrant. Don't let him.
Would you say racist AI?
It's just AI.
Prejudiced AI?
Offended AI.
Yeah, AI that's offended. Oh, could you imagine it? Where we're going next? Oh,
Oh, no, don't. Why imagine? Imagine all the people.
it is a beautiful thing, though. I mean, I love it a bit. It really is. It's a bizarre, beautiful roller coaster of a ride. Each day, each moment, each second, just as fascinating as the worst, and just as beautiful as the best. You know, it's all rolled into one. This moment, this experience.
Laugh at the adversity of everything. It's beautiful. I mean, yesterday I was watching one of the Ricky Gervais show called Humanity.
Oh yeah. I've seen that one. It's quite good.
You said, yeah, it's quite a good one, and he touches on the offended people, you know, quite a lot. And at the end, he says, just laugh at the adversity, laugh at all the challenges, laugh at that.
Yeah.
Just laugh.
Yeah, it's all a beautiful
It's a
experience,
solution.
mate. Yeah, it's all a beautiful thing, really. It really is. I mean, it's strange and
I'm
weird.
gonna die. It's like, so I hope you're gonna have an easy death.
Yeah, like, well,
That's gonna be funny.
guess what? We all die. You know, we all
Are we? Shit.
die in the physical sense, but equally throughout history there are many kind of hints and suggestions that we don't, you know, the physical dies, but that's the least of what we are. You know, we've discussed in other episodes the nature and the scope of this thing that we're calling an experience of life, right? It's so much more than the physical, but people hold on to it like it's special. They break the possibilities of what could be done through their compartmentalization of what is. Yeah, they break everything down into its component parts and lose sight of the whole orchestra, which is happening right now, and you are, you know, part of that orchestra. You are, you know, part of this beautiful cacophony of otherness, just going through this bizarre universe of other dimensional possibilities, the quantum theology, quantum physics, the numbers, the sciences, the golden means, the ratios, the idea of extraterrestrial life, the history, those that have come before, buried history, great catastrophes that have wiped nations off the face of the earth and buried them under vast amounts of mud and sludge, all waiting to be unpacked and rediscovered, remembered. But you get the idea that those in positions of power don't want you talking about all that. They want you focused on your new iPhone. They want you to have everything all connected. They want you to get you chipped up so your advertiser tailored just to you. They want to make sure that you don't feel guilty at Christmas because you haven't got a new table. They want to make sure that they manifest an advert so great that you don't even think about getting a new table because you already bought one in anticipation. You know, we're already seeing people being arrested for thought crimes. That's not even a lie.
No, guess what? So, I mean, the first thing I was going to say to you guys was this, and say to the ladies and gentlemen was this. If you're listening to what Carl just said and it was a little bit lofty, let me help you real quick. Do you remember those movies, those shows where you got those people that are sort of saying far out, man, and let go and all of that stuff? You know how you normally see that then ridiculed, right? Well, Well, forget the ridicule. I suggest you go ahead and think like that. Let go. Let go of your iPhone. Let go of your iPad. Let go of your tablets, your devices. Let go of the emergency, the urgency of you to have to hold those things in your hand, for you to even have them. Forget about them. They're just toys. They're inanimate. They don't work without you. They broadcast. They record. But that's not down to you. That's somebody else. But you don't. But when you're sitting there looking at it, and it's closed until you open it and look inside. It's closed, right? So forget about it. Forget about it. That's not the most important thing. There doesn't need to be another gadget. There doesn't need to be another thing in your eye line, in your earshot. There doesn't need to be any more. What more do you want? Okay, we've got flying cars. We've got flying racing cars now. We've got, and this is all stuff that's happening. We've got flying motorbikes. We've got flying bikes. Flying, individual pilot flying in personal transportation. So we're there. The Jetsons, hello, we're here now. Okay, got it. Beam me up, Scotty. Yeah, your cell phone. Yeah, okay. We're there now. So now that we're finally there, and now that you realise it, just let go for a minute, because that's not important. None of that's important. Well, there is some importance, because otherwise you'd not be able to hear us going on, wittering on at you. Right? You wouldn't get a tapping. You wouldn't be able to go to your friends and say, hey, guess what? There's this outfit called the House of Lords, and I suggest you look them up on YouTube and Spotify, that you follow them, right? That you like and subscribe, and then you listen to what they're saying. You know what? I wouldn't be able to do that. Nobody would be able to do that, right? They wouldn't be able to say that every week the House of Lords will endeavour to delve deep into the human consciousness in a form of open and bright discussion. That won't happen, right? You know, if you didn't have those, so some of it is important. I take it back, but I believe that you get my drift. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's simple as this, especially in relation to the technological world that we are now living in, right? Because it is relevant, and these are fabulous tools that we can use really to change the very paradigm on how we're treating ourselves. But these are the questions you've got to ask, right? Are you using it, or are its creators using it to use you?
Well, it currently appears as if, when you are honest, when you're very honest, and when you let go of any preconceived notions or self-proclaimed images of self and the importance of such, the only possible answer, when you look at the balance, the only possible answer you have is they're using us. They're using the device to use you. Because look how much data there is on the other side that we're not using. Look how much data. We're looking at something, they're looking at what we're looking at. You're saying something, they're looking at what you're saying. And they're gathering it all. They just have it as data that they can sell. Opinions. You want to know what these type of people think? Here you go. I'll tell you something. Whilst I'm there, the last episode of Blacklist.
Say that again.
Last episode of, I believe it's Blacklist. No. The last episode of The Rabbit Hole, Keith Sutherland's production. Okay. Last episode. This dude that Keith's character's father was chasing all this time. You finally get to see him. So picture this: one of those private jets sitting there next to his seat. Right? He's got a unit where he's got a desk set up in an aircraft hangar. So it's a private aircraft hangar. It's mobile, so you can tell by everything. You can tell it can be packed up, and this dude It literally controlled the country's thoughts and everything. And you saw how it went down. It was that's why I'm like, if you don't know what Keith Sutherland's doing, ladies and gentlemen, you want to get a bit of understanding of what's going on behind it. Do you want to get would you like to see a possible alternative to what is going on right now? Possible alternative to what you've been told, what you see on TV every day, what you hear on the radio every day. If you would like to open your mind and then absorb another possibility of our reality, I would suggest tapping in with that man's work. It's called Rabbit Hole. I know, it's very easy. But check it out. Because when you see that last episode, it all makes sense. It all makes sense. The control, the manipulation with a few keystrokes. With a few keystrokes, took a country. Took an entire country with a few keystrokes. And it's interesting how the data was the most important thing, the most important subject. And its manipulation. And the fact that it only needed one person to be the main manipulator. One individual, not a team, not an office block. One who could independently manipulate millions of people's data. And in this instance, it was everybody's data and thought process in the US, and the way they would. You got to see it. You've just got to see it. And I don't care if you watch the whole thing, but go to the last episode. If you haven't got time, go straight to the last episode, because I don't care about spoiler alerts any longer. Go straight to the last episode.
No, I think I'd do the last episode. I'm not one for continued series or anything.
Yeah, just do the last episode. It will make sense.
All right. And what's that called again?
Rabbit Hole.
Rabbit Hole. I did send you gentlemen something in the back channel early hours of this morning. And
you did?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Check it out. Let me know what you think in the back channels afterwards, and we could have a chat about that some of the listeners might enjoy. I'm not entirely sure, but I can only speculate. But that being said, I mean, I think that's a reasonable discussion. You know, where we're going. This is an hour and a half. What we're going to do? We're going to go any further? We're going to take it into any more subject?
Was it all the Marius? Did you? What about? What say you, mate? What say you?
What about?
Is there an area that you would like to? Oh, wait a minute. This is probably the moment when we should do it. There's going to be a tiny little pause for us to take just to hear these little messages from this little sponsor, and then we'll return in a sec. Thank you. We've returned. Now, this is the moment where we ask, where our colleague Marius asks,
what comes up?
Yay! So
what comes up,
what comes up, Marius?
What comes up? Wow. Shamelessly, nothing comes up. Interesting. There must be a reason why there's nothing that comes up. Is it because that same question can be turned back to you, gentlemen, and ask you what comes up this time?
Okay.
He's joking now.
I was joking. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. See, because this is us. This is how we do it here, and this is us talking. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens when we kind of have an outline, kind of like a discussion, kind of a bit of an outline, and we say to us, and we, the three of us, had this conversation, and maybe I missed it, maybe I didn't get it, but like at this moment, we look towards our colleague, because If you listen to the other episodes, you always say, "So what comes up? Well, what comes up is So we decided, because he was, and what normally comes up is very profound from Marius. So we decided. So we you know what? It's a good idea. I tell you what. We should do a section. We should do a little section of the show.
Mm-hmm.
What's comes up, and then Marius then talks to you lot about what comes up for him when he sees the picture where we are happen to be, in whatever subject he chooses. Right?
Something inspirational, maybe.
Something exactly. Yeah. So that's why we return it back to you, because really we're not on the contract for that bit. You are. So what comes up, mate?
It's like a boomerang effect. Keep passing it on. Well, I'll tell you what comes up. Here. And it's a very good example of what comes up. It comes up that the fact that this is where we are with humanity. Taking responsibility of our own actions. And actually hold ourselves accountable for what we do. That's what we are. The reason why we experience what we experience, we're going through what we're going through, the fact that we talk about how our food is being, modified and changed. The thing is, who does that? Who is really modifying? Okay, we can say, well, but there's the scientists and all that. Yes, that is true to a degree. But who is helping them to modify it after they come up with the modification?
We are.
There you go.
Consciousness. Because we become aware of the modification, we protest the modification, then consciousness consumes the modification. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we do not hold ourselves accountable. We raise up, we make up noise. And we have been a little limited. I will say we have been just a tad limited in our actions after we've railed up and make up noise, because, ladies and gentlemen, we do not sit in that moment of noise making and rail upping. We pass that and we come to solution building.
Ooh, I like that. Go on, man. Yeah.
No. Go on.
No, you say solution building, and what I was chuckling to myself isn't anything to do with what you're saying. And now I feel somewhat like I've been a distraction. But please.
That's okay. Yeah.
What I was
building.
God.
Yeah. Go on.
You're talking about building. Go on.
Yeah. So because my observation. And in part, and I have been responsible personally for acting this way. So I'm not going to place myself above anybody or anything before I even say this. But we tend to, when I say we, I'm going to include myself in this moment, just for this moment. Right? In the past, we have been responsible for whining and complaining and doing sod all about it. Right? Expecting some other person, some other entity to hear what I've got to say in my moment of complaint. Come round. As they come round, they look at me and say, don't get up, don't trouble yourself, I got this. Right? Well, no, it doesn't work like that. In our moment of complaining, we may feel like it should work like that, but in actuality, ladies and gentlemen, it really does not. But what seems to have happened is that we see things that we feel need to be changed based on our own assumptions, our own observations, maybe what we're hearing, other people's observations, and then grabbing that and taking it as if it's ours. We tend to do that. But why? Where has that got us? Because we don't seem to want to go past there and say, all right, we've had enough complaining. Like, how about this? Situation happens, you say, right, alarm clock goes on, your stopwatch goes on, and you've got 15 minutes to whine and complain about it. 15 minutes. And when the alarm goes off, no one wants to hear any more complaints about it again. Yeah, we know what's happened. We see it. 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 So now, minute 16, the sentence, what are we going to do to change it, should have come out by minute 16. If it's not, I tell you what we can do. We can begin to, maybe we can consider practicing that. If that's not who you are, and you can hear our voices, and you're honest with yourself in this moment, because you heard me being honest in this moment and saying that, yes, I have been responsible for that. Yeah, I own my hands up. I own that. Lots of us have. I don't care whether anybody else is not putting up their hand because they are older and wiser now. I'm putting my hand up because at some point on my existence on earth, that's exactly what I'm doing. So there you go, my hands up.
No,
So
I'll put my hand up. I'll put my hand up, mate.
I'll take it, right? But what I'm saying is we need to it will be nice. It can be, consider this as a new route to take towards our growth. Consider when we see these things, and we've given ourselves the 5, 10, 15, but let's try to whittle it down as we move forward until it's nothing, until we go from that to solution straight away. Observe, let's come up with a solution together. So how about we, in this year's 2024, less complaining, more doing. Doesn't that sound like a commercial? Wait, hold on. Doesn't it? Less something, more doing. And they're like I don't know, that's like a hardware something or other. I don't know. It sounds familiar, right? But look, less complaining, more doing. Right? The more we do, the less we complain, the more time we're using to benefit ourselves, to evolve, to grow, to learn from that which has been a lesson. There are no mistakes. There are just lots and lots of lessons. You've been told there's a bunch of mistakes. How about how about switching that out for lessons and see how you feel about it? You don't feel the shame anymore, do you? Your head's not bowed down because someone says, you made a mistake. Your head's not bowed anymore. Because when you remove that, mistakes almost sounds as if you're being judged right there by somebody who's got no right to judge you because they're on the same level as you. So how can they judge you? They're not above you. They're not below you. What's going on? As Marius says, it's in the name, it's in the words. So how about we take a consideration? What do you think, gents? What do you think? Take over, gents, because you know what I'm saying.
One thing that comes up that to add to what you were just saying, make better choices, take action. That is true. One thing that comes up to bring to people something that I wasn't aware for a long period of time, and then when I became aware of it, I'm like, okay. Well, first, become aware of the fact that we are part of the problem, but also of the solution. Why do I say that? Well, we are in that system, right? We are. That's why we are part of the problem. We are in that system. Most people will go to get an income, right, by producing that kind of a food that we were talking at the beginning. Not being aware of the fact that the people are poisoning themselves by doing that job for an income. And not just themselves, but also their family and their relatives. Now, the question would be like, oh, so what do you want me to do? How am I going to support my family? Well, no one is saying just give up straight away. But when you become aware, when we become aware, that that's why we are part of the problem, then we start to make better solutions. We start to look for different ways of supporting our family. Ways that doesn't add to the problem that we're in, but instead it adds to the solution to solve the problem. So by not being aware of the problem, how are we going to come with the solution? We have to first become aware of the problem, right? That's what we do with the House of Lords. bring the awareness of what we're in, what we experience as consciousness.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You've just heard from the Right Honourable Iani, and a beautiful rendition of what we should be doing, moving from reactory basis and whining about the current paradigm you find yourself in, and shifting, asking yourself that question. Okay, now I am informed. What now? And then we moved on to the illustrious and Right Honourable Marius up in the house, that then comes forward with the vigour and energy and passion which we would like to see in what comes up with Marius. And you have myself here, you know, just little old quiet me, like, just sat here, like, minding my own business, like, just trying to work out if I'm part of the problem or part of the solution. I don't know, I'm all confused. All of a sudden, I just want to go and watch Netflix.
And pizza and wine.
Yeah. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. You've been listening to the House of Lords as we've been exploring them. One of the things I was laughing at, right, Marius, right, while you were talking, Iani, and it wasn't that I wasn't listening, it was just this presented itself to me. And it was building up the whole kind of ambience to what comes up with Marius. You know, a nice little jingle, a nice little kind of run up. And then I was presented with some Romanian country music, ding 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 ding, whatever it is, right? And here we are, the segment of the show with what comes up with Marius, and then it kicks into some Romanian music. And then you do your bit, Marius.
That could work, man. That could work, man. Yeah, we can. Hey, you know what? That could work. That's gonna work.
I actually shared, I think, a clip on Messenger to Carl and to you, I believe, with something. That's why Carl probably came up with that right now.
Nah, do you know what? I'll have to confess, I haven't seen it. I'm going to look out for it, Marius. But if you know of a particular piece of music, like a little bit of Romanian music that you want as a build-up to that segment, whenever it is, I can just press play and we can have that segment there, you know. Right, it's that time of the show. We're tuned in to the House of Lords, and it's that what comes up with Marius. I don't know what instrument it is or anything. I don't know.
Brilliant. Real. Love it, mate. Love it. You see, again, you know, I hope, you know, ladies and gentlemen, you know, it's, for us, it's actually a pleasure, letting you in on the journey, because as we said at the very beginning, you know, from minute one, hello, we're starting now, so we just hit a button first and then we started to work out the best way to present these many different possibilities and facets and understandings to you. That weren't me, by the way, but yeah, to you, yeah. So that weren't me. You know, it's a marvelous thing to be able to do this and to bring you along with us. So I hope you guys enjoy that. I hope you guys I hope that gives you some sort of understanding. You know, that we're not we're not muppets. You know, we're genuine individuals that are just that are here to learn. And we learn every single day. Right, we're the eternal students in our own quests, in our own journeys, and that's that. We don't expect anybody else to be. We don't impose that on anyone, but we definitely will share our thoughts, you know, and that's it. You know, again, that's what we're here to do. We're not saying this is what you must do, because if you notice, we didn't even give you a thing at the end of that. We didn't even give you a thing of what to do to come out of it. Again, we're just highlighting our observations. These are just simple observations, but there's not going to be like, well, now what you got to do, right, is you got to go down the road, yeah, you got to sign up with the council, and then one of you has got to work for them, yeah, do that for about a year and a half, work your way up, now you're in a position of power, and then we're not doing any of that. No. We're not doing that. And as you notice,
we're not doing that.
You know, Marius, you know, he's got his toys with him. He's like, oh, come on. I'm just gonna. It's cool though.
I think he's trying to do something, Yanni. Wait, hold on a second.
Oh yeah, hang on then, hang on. Right, this would be like a tester. Hang on, let me just see if we can line it up. Right, see how it all goes. All right.
Go for it.
Hang on.
Just go for it.
Hang on. Right. Right, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of the show between us, the House of Lords, and our illustrious, the Right Honourable Marius, and his segment with What Comes Up. Hi. And then what we could do, we could just take it down, couldn't we? Do you want it off?
Fade it down when Marius
Yeah,
comes
do
in.
you want it off? Or we just take it down?
Do you put it bubbling underneath, or do you want it?
I've sent it to you as well a while ago, Yanni. Send you on WhatsApp.
But yeah,
I'm aware of that. But so, what do you think? Your voice bubbling over with it bubbling underneath, or
Not over. No. It's just the introduction.
just the introduction. All right, no worries, we can do that.
so then,
Yeah.
and then, if he fades it out gradually, then you come in. Make sure that you come in as it's beginning to fade out. Hi, this is Marius. You know, and voila, we have it smooth and it's cool.
There we go.
Yeah, the Romanian music is very energetic and that's it's very
Good. Yeah, that's what we want. That's what we want. We want that energy because your energy is amazing, and I think the public also need to be able to. It would be nice if they had an opportunity to experience that as well, because we feel rather selfish.
Nah, that's not true. So to listeners, the energy is the same as the other two honorable gentlemen. This is why we are the House of Lords. With that high energy, making that change in the world. What do you guys think about that?
That's the House of Lords, Marius. There you go. Absolutely love it. This is going to be your segment now, Marius.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. You've been listening to the House of Lords right here on Spotify and on YouTube. And if you're enjoying yourself and you're on platforms that we ain't mentioned and you can share, we're going to ask you, why aren't you? That was made. That was meant to fade down then, but I pressed the wrong button.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, I did the wrong slider basically. I cancelled use out and not the music. But never mind. I realised that afterwards. I told you it's live.
See, this is it. That's what it's about. See, ladies and gentlemen, we're taking you on the ride, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. I hope you guys are enjoying the discussions, the in-depth discussion. We're here. We're vulnerable. We're not Harvard undergraduates or anything like that. We're not trying to. Look, just
check your body.
Part of consciousness that just wants to check out what's going on. That's all. Maybe.
What do you mean maybe?
Yeah, no, that's all.
Yeah. You do, you don't. You're in, you're out. You're out. Shut up, Carl.
Shut up!
Yeah, I had to catch my professionalism then and just had to quickly adjust my dynamic and put the brakes on what was just about to come out.
I was going to say real quick. I was going to ask real quick. So, did we ever get to hit the pinboard? Because maybe that should be. Oh, there we go. That's a segment for Carl.
What's that?
Hit the pinboard.
The pinboard. Because you set the pinboard up.
I did,
the pinboard up.
I did, yeah.
Right? You did, didn't you?
I did.
You set it up. You set the pinboard up.
He has, all years, he listens to everything and then he pins it,
Well, he can't listen to everything because I said at the beginning of this show that I was meant to take notes and I didn't.
Well, you said yesterday when the three of us were having a discussion that you were going to take notes and you didn't.
We've established that.
We have so, but what we're establishing now, though, right?
I'm just making sure.
Is that I haven't. Is
Make
that
sure you
what
don't
we've
swerve off.
established?
Make sure Carl doesn't swerve off the path of
Yep.
the pin board. What was it?
Yep.
What was it? What's the type? What's the segment called, Marius?
The pinboard.
What's on a
Yeah,
pinboard?
Carl's
What's on a-
pinboard.
Yeah, the pin board. Yeah, Carl's pin.
Carl's pinboard.
Carl's pin, because he made it. I didn't touch it. I didn't make it. I'm
I
like,
see
whose
what you're doing.
pinboard's
Yeah.
that?
I see what
It's
you're
not
doing.
mine.
This is very
It's
clever.
not mine.
This
Whose
is very
pinboard?
clever.
Whose pinboard is that? No, it weren't mine, mate. Look, none of my fingerprints are on there. It's got nothing to do with. I think it's Carl, actually. Yeah,
you
he's
see
over
what's
there.
going on here, ladies and gentlemen.
He's that
boys and
one.
girls, right? The male bravado, how we're manipulating our own psyches to sculpt this thing called the House of Lords, right? You didn't do your bit, mate.
you know, Carl. Also, he is aware of the fact that his will come soon. He's gonna bring it out to us, right?
Of course I'm aware. But you know, meanwhile, this came to me. It just literally came to me just now. The pinboard. Yeah.
All right.
The pinboard. Do you know what I mean? Because
I would like a piece of music too. I would like an intro. Thank you very much.
Well, then you're on the
So
you're on the music.
You see that I give you gifts. I give you constant gifts. Nothing
And I'm just
in
giving you
return.
one.
Nothing
I've
in return.
just given you a gift,
Do it
mate.
yourself.
I've just given
Do
you a
it
gift.
yourself. Right? No, not a problem. I'm only jesting. Yeah, of course. The pinboard. What's on a pinboard?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to have to go make them notes now. I'm going to have to listen to that 2-hour show and actually stick down what's on the pinboard. Right,
Exactly.
Yeah, no worries.
Either Carl's pinboard or, but well, Marius is what comes up. So yours should be hit the pinboard.
Hit the pinboard.
Hit the pinboard.
Okay.
Hit the pinboard.
This just being on a.
Okay.
This just being pinned on a pinboard. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
So that way we can address all the stuff that you put on there the other day. Otherwise, that'll be flapping around. You know, the post-its will all be curled up and dry and crinkly at the end of the ink will be faded. You know, and then we're gonna. Oh wait, what about the pinboard?
You're really
Right,
painting an image of my inaction. I love it. Right, I can see the pinboard sat there in the office just nagging at me. Just there, fucking pinboard.
So now this has been decided, right?
Yeah, you got your.
What's it gonna be called, Carl? What's it gonna be called, Yannick? What's it gonna be called?
Hit the pinboard.
The
Hit
pinball.
the pinboard. Hit the pinboard.
Hit the pinball. Okay.
Yeah.
Here. Yeah.
All right.
That's how we agree with everything, mate.
Is that- what is it they do? The nose to the ears and the eyes to the right, or whatever it is. I don't know what it is. Have you seen that?
Oh,
Yeah.
No.
The nose is to the left, or whatever. Nose to this, and the eyes.
oh, correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, the eyes. Well, on this particular occasion, the eyes have it.
Fine.
The honourable gentleman Carl agreed.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
You see how we are genuinely making strides to
Formulate a bigger package. If I could say that
Must-
properly, yeah.
package.
Yeah, to formulate a better package.
Yes, you see, and at some point, you guys will start to get in touch with us and let us know, you know.
If you like our package.
Yeah, do you like
That sounded so
yeah,
horrible.
oi. Do you know what? You know something?
Oh my
That
goodness.
could actually be the T-shirt of the week, because at some point we're going to be doing T-shirt of the week, right, or T-shirt or whatever. Because people are going to want to have, right, the House of Lords, little nicely done T-shirt with a quality print, not big scattered all across it like some sort of whatever. No, but with class. Like back in the day, lacrosse. Look at them, just there, Adidas just up here. Yeah, well, House of Lords, mate, with our little thing, right? And, what was that? What did you just say? What was that? And the T-shirt today would have been whatever that sentence
I
you
love
just
this
said was.
idea, right? House of Lords.
What-
Just this brand
what-
logo, and then maybe down the bottom near the rim. Do you like our package?
Yeah, do you like our package? Right there you go, bosh. That's the first of the logos, right? That's first of the print. Do you like our package? Right? Put that on a t-shirt. Let them know we're going to do a quick, we'll just do something. Just do a limited. We'll just do a limited run, super limited. So, maybe like the first 20 people to sign up and whatever. First 20 people to sign up and to subscribe properly. We'll make it available to them at a lower than market rate, so that they get in on the ground level. Think of it as a little gift to us. We give you, you give us something, we give you something back. And it's a give and take. But we love you, so we want you to be part of who we are. Do you know what I mean? We want you. So yeah, think about that, ladies and gentlemen, because we're genuine. We're genuine. That's what we want to do. We love you. Right. No, we'll take it.
Love it.
Well, we've come to once again an end to another edition. Intro to Love and Light, the House of Lords. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
It has been myself, Ihani, my colleagues, Carl. Until we speak again.
TTFN.
Be good to each other.
Have a lovely time. How come we still here, but he ended it?
I don't know. We love you,
Anyway.
Iani.
Let's go. Say that.